Today's testimony, which Andrew included in his stories you just heard, when House State Affairs Chairman Brent Crane was addressing Paige Beach, a children's librarian in Meridian. And he wasn't just addressing Paige, but actually pushing back a bit against her testimony that this bill and those in favor of it are just fear-mongering, with specific sections of a book taken out of context. When Paige brought up what's too much for one 15-year-old might be good fit for another 15-year-old, as you heard in Andrew's story, Chairman Crane interrupted to say, quote, "Sorry, Paige, these are not appropriate for any 15-year-old kid." We don't know which book to which Chair Crane was referring, but he has already made that decision for all 15-year-olds, apparently. But that exchange only highlights what else we noticed during this morning's hearing, how Chair Crane ran it. Idaho's legislature follows parliamentary procedure, specifically Mason's Manual of Legislative Procedure, which lays out how a committee hearing is supposed to go. And some could say Chair Crane may have played a little loose with that interpretation.
My job is just to run the process.
And that's the description given by Mason's Manual of Legislative Procedure. From calling the meeting to order to ruling on points of order, the purpose of the chair is to conduct the order of the meeting in a fair and equitable manner.
But I do have a question for you. What would you have liked Representative Crane to include in the bill or exclude from the bill? Or do you think it's a good idea that we put some of those provisions in place for minors so that they're not around materials or around beverages until they reach the age of 18? So I'll ask one more question. The chair's not supposed to ask many questions, but I'll ask because this is of interest to me. So I have a question for you, Mr. Wright. Can you point to me the section where it's requiring you, section in the bill that's requiring you to post a guard in there and lock your, elevator, et cetera, et cetera? So according to the sponsor, he's saying he's not censoring, he's just asking them to relocate it. Can you show me where the censoring is at?
The role of the chair is to also keep the meeting going, on task, not waste time.
Was there an election in your library district last year? And could you describe what the results of the election were?
I'm going to let that question stand, but I think you are asking a question you know the answer to.
Well, yes. I do.
Yeah, that's called leading the witness.
Okay, so no asking questions you know the answer to, and no leading the witness.
Just to drill further, so you're telling me that if I find a book offensive and I fill out this form, that they are not removing the book, they're just simply relocating the book somewhere in the library?
Mr. Chairman, that is correct.
Mason's manual also notes the chair should not make motions, should not enter the debate, and should avoid the appearance of bias.
I haven't heard a library yet that doesn't have a policy. It sounds like they all have a policy. It's not working. These books still are coming up, and we're seeing last year we had books that were in Meridian libraries that have no business being in the hands of minors. Seeing none, the secretary will call the roll.
So it's perhaps no surprise.
Chairman Crane.
Aye.
This bill will show itself to the House floor.
Representative.
Okay, so according to Mason's manual, merely asking a question is not considered debate. But as you heard, what we heard from the chair, sometimes that seemed to go beyond asking a question. We did reach out to Representative Crane, by the way, to ask how he thought he handled the State Affairs Committee hearing today, but we have yet to hear back. And as you already heard, House Bill 384 now headed to the House for a full debate.